the reason we know it's at least the 50s is you can still make out Erie Railroad on this.
Oh yeah, look at that. We are on an abandoned railroad. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Pretty rough.
It's pretty rough, but a little bit of context where we're at. We are in pretty much our hometown.
Yeah.
In West Salem, Ohio. West Salem has actually a full history of railroads and whatnot, and this is the most recent one that the rails are still here, and they're not abandoned yet, but I mean, they're gonna be.
Well, I think yeah. Show them down there.
Yeah.
Trees covering the tracks. They haven't used this line in about 4 years now. If you look, the ties are horrible.
Yeah, as you can see, so this right here is the route that goes from West Salem to Ashland. This is technically owned by the Ashland Railway. And they have a customer in West Salem, which is, I think it's premium, and they used to use it up until about 4 years ago now to transport, is it like plastic pellets?
Yeah, plastic pellets.
And I guess now these rails were deemed
too rough,
and so now they're doing some testing. They have not ran a train out here in a couple of years, so well, we're just going to talk about it because it turns out that this railroad has a lot of history.
Oh yeah,
like big history. As you can kind of see right here, there actually used to be 2 rails here, and that goes for the history because this used to be an really busy main line.
Yeah,
you said
it was back from 1976 is kind of the beginning of the end of this. I like to use that term a lot. Beginning of the end for this railroad. This is was the Erie Lackawanna 1976. Then the Erie before that. And I don't remember, there's like a million different names because railroads are weird like that. But Erie was the major user of this. This was their main route to Chicago. So it went from New Jersey. Eventually, I don't know if it did when Erie owned it, but Erie Lackawanna, New Jersey, all the way to Chicago. They said that this route was great for intermodals, which is the containers, like container ship stuff. Back then it was just like semi-trailers, but it was great for that because it bypassed every major city, so you could go fast.
Wow.
So that's what this route was known for. And Conrail 1976 killed it. It was, for them, it was redundant. They didn't need another line to Chicago. They already had
up until 1976 there were really 2 routes here, or there were 2 rails. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 tracks. I'm standing where the other one would have been.
Right. Yeah, you can definitely tell.
Yeah, so the eastbound and westbound mains, I believe the one still intact is the eastbound main.
So they only really ran east.
Unless something weird happened or like they're doing maintenance or something. It was generally like they went one direction on one track, one direction on the other, kind of like cars and normal roads.
So we're kind of just doing some scouting, just kind of going back and forth, looking just for anything, you know, any maybe signal towers or marker posts or anything like that along this railway. And we found this absolutely beautiful gem. And how old do you think this bridge is?
The bridge has to, I mean, it's probably, a safe guess would be the 50s. It's probably older though. But the reason we know it's at least the 50s is you can still make out Erie Railroad on this.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I mean, that right there, we looked on the other side.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the side that the sun faces, so we're thinking like the sun probably faded that out. But yeah, that's insane to see that because that company went out of existence in the early 60s. It got merged with the Erie Lackawanna, so that paint right there has to be easily 60 years old probably.
That is
probably
insane.
Closer to 70, honestly.
That's insane. And the fact, you know, obviously just like he said, there were 2 rails that went here. They're still there. There's even some rail. We got the drone up, as you can see, but we don't know if that's just, you know, from them fixing the other rail or whatnot, but it's just laying on top.
Yeah, it could
be
whatever, but yeah.
But this is awesome. It's beautiful. This didn't even look like a road. We've seen a road sign. It's a public road, so, you know, once again, we're not trespassing or doing anything here, but it's awesome. I had no idea that this was even here.
Sandstones too. I mean, that's just insane. This thing looks like it's perfectly fine. Like no structural issues.
I mean, obviously they were using it 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. This
train's
is
going over here.
Right. This is definitely not the reason they quit using it.
Right.
You know, this will probably be here in another 50 years. I would say.
This is awesome.
like exactly like a rail, and it'd be right here. And the purpose is to keep the wheels on the rail, or the flanges of the wheel stay on, because you don't want to derail on a bridge. That's horrible.
Right.
So basically just stack another rail to make sure you stayed on the bridge.
Oh, okay. And that'd be like right here?
Right here, on the inside of the track.
Wow.
But this is probably a short enough span that they don't have it on there.
Right. But this is awesome. This is so cool. This is so old. And it's such a beautiful railroad. I mean, goodness,
Yeah.
look at that.
It's gorgeous out here. Nice,
it is.
Beautiful curve with a barn back there.
Yeah, old abandoned barn. But yeah, you can definitely tell the condition of the rails are little sloppy, even especially on camera, which is the whole reason why they actually abandoned, or not abandoned this yet, but it's because they aren't using it. They're not using it because it needs basically a hole from West Salem to Ashland, because from Ashland on, they still use it, which is Ashland to where, like Mansfield.
Yeah, Mansfield, and then they operate another set of tracks that isn't the old Erie that goes to Willard, Ohio. But a cool thing about this is there's a train yard in Ontario that actually served an old GM plant, a stamping plant. That train yard is still there. And it's like you'd never know it unless you knew what you're looking for. That's not owned by the Ashland Railway, but it is still there. All the tracks are still intact. It's just,
that's cool.
I mean, it's not being used. It's kind of like this, well,
because that's the whole reason why they aren't running this, because they need probably a couple $1 million worth of repairs.
Oh, easily.
Just to go to one customer to West Salem as of right now.
Right.
And
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. So you said that in Ashland they're actually, like, they still have the train cars they used to run to West Salem. They'd bring it to Ashland, then from train car to truck. What's the term for that called?
It's called transloading. Yeah. So you park the truck next to the tracks and just pump it into the trucks. That's what happens for a lot of stuff in Worcester, where we covered actually didn't cover this part yet, but on the B&O Millersburg branch, they do that on there. So
okay, yeah. This is awesome to actually come out here and check it. We're just basically tracking the rail from West Salem. Yeah. And just, once again, just kind of looking and seeing if we can see any cool artifacts or anything. We still have a pretty good ways to go, but it's awesome. Alrighty, so now we're down to the end of, I guess, this line. And as you can see right down there, we took the drone down there. It basically just cuts off and it completely ends. Yeah. And that's another video that we're going to do. But
the part that's actually abandoned, no rails left. And it's weird because these tracks, it's like all over the place. Like there's some track, then there's nothing, then there's track, then there's nothing. So we'll definitely do another video on that and check that out. There's some rails trails too, actually. A bunch of this is rails trails. But yeah, that's the end of the line for what Ashland Railway owns.
Yeah, pretty much. This right here is premium. This is a, what do they do here again? They make like plastic materials fencing, or something like that.
It's some sort of fencing they do here. But yeah, it's plastic. They use a lot of plastic. Yeah. That's what they brought train cars in for, was the plastic pellets. Yeah. And they went through that fence, which is right down there, a little ways. They would bring the plastic pellets in, and now, like we talked about, they transload it, or they're trying to transload it. If for some reason that doesn't work, I haven't heard anything since then. If that for some reason fails, then maybe we'll get these rails reactivated. Right. If not, they'll probably stay like this and eventually get ripped up.
Yeah, which would suck, but it's, hey, shit happens.
It is,
honestly, and like we understand, it's got to be way cheaper for them, because they would probably have to pay to get the rails fixed. Would they?
No, it'd be the company. They have to weigh out like what the profit to cost is, and that's that's why they haven't been doing it yet. It's entirely on the railroad, to fix it, and having one customer is just probably not enough
to fix miles and miles worth of track just for one customer, but. We'll see. You never know. But hey, that's it. Quick little video just on our hometown. Thanks for watching. Yeah. And catch us sooner.